Welcome to How to Clean Your Front-Load Washing Machine.
Thank you. It's a great topic to dig into today.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you throw your sweaty gym clothes, your muddy jeans, just your everyday life into this metal box, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You press a button, you hear the water rushing, and a little while later, everything just comes out fresh and perfectly renewed.
It really feels like magic sometimes,
It totally does. And we all share this fascinating, almost universal blind spot when it comes to the appliances in our homes.
Right, because we just assume that a machine designed to clean things must automatically stay clean itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today, we are going completely behind the curtain in this deep dive. We're looking at a highly practical, honestly, oddly satisfying YouTube video transcript from the channel, Clean That Up.
It's such a good source, really practical.
Yeah, and it's walking us through a reality check that is just long overdue for most of us.
It is the ultimate irony of modern domestic life, honestly. We rely entirely on this appliance to, strip away the grime and the oils from our clothes,
Right.
but we rarely pause to consider the fundamental law of conservation of mass, all that dirt and microscopic residue.
The soap, scum, and everything.
Exactly. It doesn't just vanish into a parallel dimension when the spin cycle ends. It has to go somewhere.
Yeah, and I want to speak directly to you, the listener, right now. If you were sitting there thinking, oh no, I just throw my clothes in, slam the door shut, and walk away, please know you are in the vast, overwhelming majority.
Oh, for sure. Everyone does that.
That's just how we're conditioned to interact with these devices. Out of sight, out of mind. We assume the magic is happening.
But behind that glass door, there's this entire hidden ecosystem brewing.
Ugh, an ecosystem. That sounds terrible.
I mean, it kind of is. We're talking microscopic life, mineral buildups, trapped debris. It's secretly compromising the very cleanliness you're trying to achieve.
And that ecosystem is what creates that dreaded musty smell, right? The one so many front-loader owners eventually get.
Yes, exactly. You pull your clean clothes out, and instead of smelling like fresh laundry, they smell faintly like a damp basement.
Which is the worst.
Yeah.
But listen, our mission today is to extract the ultimate step-by-step masterclass on deep cleaning a front loader directly from our source material.
That's going to be so helpful.
We are going to break down exactly how to banish the mold, neutralize the odors, and ensure your clothes are genuinely fresh. And I want to set the tone right out of the gate.
Yeah, no guilt here.
Right, exactly. This is not about feeling guilty for neglecting your washer. This is a highly positive, encouraging, and empowering journey.
By the end of this deep dive, you're going to feel like a household engineer.
You'll have total control over the machine. But before we get our hands dirty with the nitty-gritty details, we have to start by letting the machine clear out the surface-level grime on its own.
Right, letting the machine do the heavy lifting first.
Yes. But step one is so simple and so easily overlooked. You have to make absolutely 100% sure the washing machine is completely empty.
This is so crucial.
You have to do a really thorough sweep of the drum. Check for that one stray, dark-colored sock clinging to the back wall, or a rogue washcloth hiding in the shadows.
It seems almost too obvious to mention, I know, but scientifically an empty drum is an absolute necessity for what comes next.
Why is that? What does one little sock actually do?
Well, if there's even a single garment left inside during the cleaning cycle, that fabric will act like a chemical sponge.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, textiles are incredibly efficient at absorbing liquids. That stray sock will soak up a huge portion of the cleaning agents, drawing the chemical focus away from the interior walls of the machine.
So it basically steals all the cleaning power.
Exactly. To effectively descale and sanitize the stainless steel drum, the cleaning solution needs unimpeded contact with the metal and the outer plastic tub.
Okay, let's unpack the clean cycle strategy. The video gives us two distinct weapons of choice here.
Right. Two very good options.
On one side, we have good old-fashioned white vinegar. The source tells us to pour 2 cups directly into the detergent tray, and you can even put some into the bleach and softener sections.
Which is super easy since most people have vinegar at home.
Yeah. And on the other side, we have store-bought washing machine cleaner tablets. You can easily grab a full year supply on Amazon.
Both are highly effective, though they operate on entirely different chemical principles.
How so?
Well, white vinegar is essentially a mild solution of acetic acid, so it's a spectacular descaling agent. It excels at breaking down hard water minerals.
Like the calcium buildup.
Yes, calcium carbonate and magnesium that build up on the drum over time. Those mineral deposits act like a microscopic net, catching soap scum, lint, and bacteria.
Ew. So the vinegar just dissolves the net.
Precisely. The acid destroys the foundation the grime clings to. Now, the manufactured tablets, on the other hand, often contain concentrated oxygen-based bleaches and specialized surfactants.
Okay, so they're foaming up and doing a different kind of work.
Right, they're designed to foam up rapidly and break down organic biofilms and heavy detergent residue.
Okay, so you drop your tablet in, or you pour your 2 cups of vinegar into the dispenser. Now we get to the settings, which are absolutely critical.
You cannot just run a quick cold wash here.
No, the process specifies running this on the normal setting, ensuring the water temperature is set to hot dye. And this is the real key setting, the load size to heavy or large.
Yes, the heavy setting is vital.
Because the explicit goal here is to make sure this entire machine fills up with water, right?
Exactly. And the mechanics of those specific settings are actually working against the fundamental design of the appliance.
Because front loaders are supposed to be high efficiency.
Right. Historically, older top-loading machines would fill entirely with water, suspending the clothes in a massive bath. But front loaders operate on a horizontal axis.
They just make a tiny puddle at the bottom.
Yes, usually just a shallow puddle, and they use gravity to tumble the clothes through it. That's fantastic for saving water, but for a deep clean of the machine itself, a shallow puddle is useless.
So by selecting the heavy or large load setting, you're tricking the machine's computer.
Exactly. You are manually overriding the efficiency sensors, flooding the drum with the maximum allowable volume of water so the cleaning agents reach higher up the sides.
That makes total sense. And the hot water, obviously heat cleans better, but what is actually happening in there chemically?
It's pure thermodynamics. Heat acts as a catalyst for chemical reactions. It significantly accelerates the reaction of either the acid in the vinegar or the compounds in the tablet.
So it works faster and harder.
Yes, but more importantly, it melts the waxy lipid buildup left behind by liquid fabric softeners.
Wait, fabric softeners leave a wax.
Oh, yes. And cold water actually hardens those waxes, making them incredibly difficult to remove. Sustained heat increases the solubility of the trapped dirt, turning it back into a liquid so it can be flushed out.
It totally reminds me of pre-soaking, a really stubborn baked-on lasagna pan.
That's a perfect analogy.
Right. If you just take a pan out of the oven, eat the food, and immediately try to scrub the baked-on cheese with a dry sponge, you're going to exhaust yourself and probably ruin the sponge.
You'll be scrubbing forever.
But if you fill that pan with screaming hot water and some soap, and just let it sit on the counter for an hour, the crust just wipes away.
Exactly.
But I do have to push back just a little on the method here. Why not just dive in with a sponge right away anyway? Even if it's harder, why spend the time running a full hour-long hot cycle before we even touch the machine?
What's fascinating here is the concept of operational efficiency. Starting with this clean cycle gets rid of all the easy dirt.
The easy dirt. Okay.
Yeah, the interior of a washing machine has a massive surface area. Human elbow grease is a finite resource. If you start scrubbing immediately, you're wasting energy on surface-level sludge that hot water and mild acid can easily dissolve.
Oh, I see. So it's about saving your own energy for the hard stuff.
Right. This initial cycle isn't meant to achieve absolute perfection. It's a foundational purge. It prepares the physical space so that when you do step in with your tools, your effort is highly targeted.
It's all about working smarter, not harder. So the machine beeps. The clean cycle is done. We open the glass door, and a cloud of hot, clean-smelling steam rolls out.
Which is a great feeling.
It really is. The stainless steel drum is probably looking pretty sparkly right now. We've sanitized the main cavern. But the reality is, hot water only hits what the drum exposes it to.
Yes, there are blind spots.
Right. Once that automated cycle finishes, it leaves behind an area that the tumbling water absolutely cannot fully reach on its own. We have to face the gasket.
The dreaded rubber seal.
Exactly. The thick rubber seal around the door.
The rubber gasket on a front-load washer is an engineering necessity, but it is also a biological incubator.
That sounds so gross.
It is. Because the door's on the front, gravity is constantly pushing the water against the glass during operation. The gasket provides a heavy-duty, watertight seal so your laundry room doesn't flood.
But it has all those weird folds in it.
Right. To create flexibility, the rubber is designed with deep accordion-like folds and lips, and those folds act as a physical trap.
So everything just settles in there?
Exactly. As water drains away, it leaves behind a concentrated slurry of lint, hair, and residual soap in those crevices, creating a micro-greenhouse that is permanently dark, warm, and damp.
Wow. The video completely acknowledges this reality too, pointing out that the clean cycle gets a lot of the surface grime, but you're absolutely going to have to touch up the gasket manually.
You can't skip this step.
No. And the required tools for this are perfectly simple. We're talking about a standard microfiber towel and a soft bristled toothbrush.
A microfiber towel is really exceptional for this specific task.
Because it's softer.
Actually, it's because the microscopic synthetic fibers create millions of tiny hooks. Through capillary action, these fibers physically grab and lift away the sludge.
Oh, instead of just pushing it around?
Exactly. A regular cotton rag would just smear it across the smooth rubber surface. And then the toothbrush provides targeted, localized agitation.
Because it's small enough to get into the cracks.
Right. It can penetrate the deepest, tightest folds of the seal where a standard cleaning sponge simply cannot fit.
Okay, so the method here relies on a DIY mix. We are skipping the heavily perfumed commercial sprays.
Which is great for saving money, too.
Totally. The recipe is incredibly straightforward. 1 cup of white vinegar, 1 cup of water, and about 1 teaspoon of Dawn dish soap.
A classic combination.
Yeah. You take this mix in a spray bottle, and you spray down the entire area, making sure to get into all the hidden crevices of the seal. You let it sit for a bit.
The dwell time is important here, too.
Right. Then you gently pull back the folds of the rubber seal, take that toothbrush, and start scrubbing. After scrubbing, you come through with a microfiber towel, you rinse, you wipe, and you repeat until it's clean.
The chemical synergy of that specific DIY mix is highly effective.
Why does that specific combo work so well?
Well, we already discussed the power of white vinegar. The acid dissolves hard water deposits and alkaline soap residues. But the addition of the Dawn dish soap is the real workhorse here.
Because it cuts grease.
Exactly. Dawn is heavily formulated with specialized surfactants, making it a powerful degreaser. And the buildup in that rubber gasket isn't just dirt.
What else is it?
It is heavily composed of body oils, sebum from our skin, and this is the big one, the animal fats and petroleum-based waxes that make up commercial liquid fabric softeners.
Okay, it's wild to think about fabric softeners this way. Because we just think of it as a nice smelling liquid.
It smells great, but chemically it's mostly fat.
Which explains exactly why it turns into a waterproof gray sludge when it builds up on cold plastic or rubber.
Precisely. Those heavy lipids coat the fabric to make it feel soft, but that same waxy coating gets deposited on the inside of the machine.
Especially in the slow-draining folds of that gasket.
Right. And vinegar alone cannot easily dissolve heavy lipids because water and oil repel each other. But the surfactants in the dish soap possess molecules with a hydrophilic head that loves water and a hydrophobic tail that loves oil.
Oh, so it bridges the gap between the two.
Exactly. They surround the grease molecules, breaking the surface tension and emulsifying the waxes so they can be lifted away. So by combining the acid with the surfactant, you attack both the mineral and the lipid buildup simultaneously.
It's a two-pronged chemical attack on the grime.
Yeah.
I love that. But the video is also very realistic. Depending on the buildup, this takes a little bit of time and elbow grease.
It can be a workout.
Yeah. But what happens when we hit the absolute worst case scenario?
Oh, the mold.
Yeah. What if you pull back that rubber seal and instead of just a little gray sludge, you are faced with deep, dark, discoloring, stubborn, rooted mold that has basically made a permanent home in the rubber?
That is the moment many homeowners panic. They assume they need to replace the entire gasket.
Which is super expensive, right?
Yeah. Incredibly expensive. It requires a technician to dismantle the front panel of the machine. The problem is, when mold spores sit in a damp environment for months, they generate microscopic root-like structures called hyphae.
Oh, so it actually grows into the rubber.
Yes. These hyphae penetrate the porous surface of the rubber, causing severe dark staining that standard surface scrubbing just will not remove.
Okay, well, the source material provides a highly specific solution for this exact nightmare scenario. There is a specialized product mentioned called Sugy.
Right, S-U-G-Y.
Yeah, a dedicated mold and mildew stain cleaner. And the fascinating part is the consistency of this product. It's not a spray. It's actually a thick gel.
And the gel formulation is the entire reason it works where sprays fail.
Because it doesn't drip away.
Exactly. If you spray a liquid bleach onto a vertical or curved surface like a gasket, gravity immediately pulls it down into the drum. It doesn't have the dwell time required to actually kill the spores.
But a gel stays put.
Right. A gel is highly viscous. It clings tenaciously to the vertical surfaces and the tight curves of the seal, completely defying gravity.
That is brilliant. The application process does require serious patience, though. You put on gloves, which is always smart when dealing with intense mold cleaners, and you push this gel directly down into the bottom area of the seal where the mold is concentrated.
You really have to work it in there.
Yeah, make sure it covers the whole area.
Yeah.
And then you walk away. You have to let it sit for a minimum of 3 to 5 hours.
That 3 to 5 hour window is absolutely critical for the chemistry to work.
That feels like a long time to just leave a cleaner sitting there.
It is, but you're giving the active ingredients the time they need to soak deep into the microscopic pores of the rubber. It's not just scrubbing the surface, it's chemically breaking apart the cellular walls of the mold spores.
It's literally bleaching the pigmentation out of the rubber matrix.
Exactly. It is chemical eradication, and that takes time.
After those agonizing hours of waiting, you come back, give it a good rinse, wipe it down, and dry it to see how it looks. And sometimes, if the staining is incredibly deep, you might need to apply it a second time.
It really is a process of patience.
You just repeat the process until the rubber is restored. Now, we are deep in the trenches of deep cleaning right now, transforming this appliance from a swamp back into a precision machine.
It's quite the transformation.
It really is. And, speaking of transforming the cleanliness of your home, we're talking all about getting your washing machine perfectly clean today. But if you're looking around your house and realizing your floors need some expert attention too, you should absolutely visit Kindic Carpet Cleaning on Google.
Always a good idea to keep the whole house fresh.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So the drum is sparkling, the mold is dead, and the rubber seal is clear. But gravity dictates that all of those chemical remnants, the melted waxes, the neutralized mold spores, all of it had to wash downward.
Right, it all falls down.
Which means all we've really done is push the debris into the basement of the machine. It is time to open the hidden trap door at the bottom of the front loader.
This is often the most surprising and revealing step for front load owners.
Because most people don't even know it's there.
Exactly. And it's entirely due to how these machines process water. Top-loading machines generally use a gravity-fed drain system with a very wide exit pipe.
So big stuff just flushes right out.
Right, usually without causing a severe blockage. Front loaders, however, operate with highly specialized internal water pumps to push the water up and out of the machine into your home's plumbing.
Okay.
To protect the delicate impeller blades of that motorized pump from being jammed or destroyed by foreign objects, engineers built in a mandatory defense mechanism. A drain filter, or a coin trap.
The video gets delightfully real at this point.
Yeah.
The process moves to the bottom corner of the machine, usually hidden behind a little plastic panel.
You really have to get down on the floor for this.
You do. And the advice here is to brace yourself, put a towel down, and have a little dish ready. You have to actively prep the area because it is absolutely going to get messy.
The preparation is vital because of fluid dynamics. That trap door is holding back the lowest point of the water system in the machine.
So there's always water in there.
Yes. Even if the main stainless steel drum looks completely dry to the eye, the plumbing architecture dictates that there will always be a small reservoir of residual water trapped in the corrugated hoses just before the drain pump.
So if you just rip the filter open,
You will release a miniature flood of stagnant gray water all over your laundry room floor.
oh, no one wants that. So step by step, the extraction process is a two-part operation to manage that water. Before you touch the main filter, there is usually a little tiny rubber drain hose tucked beside it.
Right, that little hose is key.
First, you pull out this little drain hose, you carefully remove the plug at the end of it, and you let the residual water drain slowly into your prep dish.
It takes a minute, but it's worth it.
And let me put a massive asterisk on this step. There is a crucial reminder that you must firmly replace that plug when you are done.
Oh, absolutely.
If you don't secure that tiny plug, you will have a continuous, slow leak flooding your floor the next time you run a load.
Unplugging that small drain hose first is basically bleeding the water pressure out of the system in a controlled manner. It lets you catch the bulk of the standing water in your small dish.
Mitigating the mess before the main event.
Exactly, before you tackle the main filter housing where all the real debris is trapped.
Okay, so once the hose is drained, you turn your attention to the main filter. It's usually a little round dial. You turn it counterclockwise to unthread it and spin it out.
And water is still going to come out here.
Yeah, even after draining the little hose, water will still pour out. It's just the messy reality.
As you unthread the filter housing, you are opening the final gate before the water pump. The rush of remaining water is inevitable.
But what comes out with that water, that's the crazy part.
It truly reveals the health of the machine.
The treasure's inside. The video shows this filter being pulled out, and it is just covered in thick, gray sludge. It is heavily clogged.
Not uncommon at all.
But amidst the sludge, as it's being cleaned, there is actually a dime buried in the muck. Someone's loose change had just been sitting in the bowels of this machine for who knows how long, completely hidden.
It's always amazing what ends up in there.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. I look at this hidden filter, and I instantly compare it to the lint trap on a dryer.
That's a great comparison.
Right. With a dryer, it is universally understood. You pull the lint trap out after every single load, you peel the lint off, and you slide it back in. It is visible, accessible, and baked into the routine.
But with a washing machine, nobody tells you this filter even exists.
Exactly. It's hidden behind a secret panel down by the floor, requiring towels and dishes to access. What happens to the machine if we just continue to ignore this hidden trap like most people do?
This raises an important question about the long-term mechanical health of the appliance. If we carry your dryer analogy forward, ignoring a dryer lint trap eventually restricts airflow, overheats the element, and leads to a fire hazard.
Right.
Ignoring the washing machine drain filter leads to a cascading system failure. Over months and years, that small plastic basket accumulates a dense, interwoven matrix of pet hair, human hair, clothing fibers, and undissolved detergent clumps.
And coins, apparently.
Yes, coins, bobby pins, screws left in pockets. As that matrix thickens, it severely restricts the flow of water trying to reach the drain pump.
So the water literally can't escape the machine fast enough.
Correct. The machine struggles to drain within its programmed time limit. The motorized pump has to work twice as hard to pull water through the blockage.
Which can't be good for the motor.
It leads to overheating and premature mechanical failure of the pump. But even before the motor burns out, you face a severe biological issue.
Back to the swamp ecosystem.
Exactly. Because the water cannot drain efficiently, a pool of stagnant, dirty water is permanently left behind in the bottom of the outer tub.
Right.
This stagnant water, rich in organic matter from your clothes, becomes an ideal breeding ground for anaerobic bacteria. These bacteria metabolize the waste and release sulfur compounds.
Sulfur, so that's the terrible swampy smell.
Yes. When the filter is clogged, your freshly washed clothes are essentially being given their final rinse in a stagnant pond.
That makes perfect sense. That swamp water is splashing back onto the clothes during the high-speed spin cycle, defeating the entire purpose of washing them.
It completely undoes all the work.
So cleaning this filter is absolutely non-negotiable. Once you extract the sludgy filter, you take it to the sink. First step. Give everything a really good high-pressure rinse to physically blast away as much loose hair and buildup as possible.
Just get the bulk of it off.
Right. Then you bring back the secret weapon. You take that same DIY vinegar and Dawn mix we used on the gasket, give the filter a generous spray down, and take your toothbrush to scrub away the stubborn, slimy biofilm clinging to the plastic.
The mechanical scrubbing, combined with the degreasing agent, ensures that the microscopic pores of the plastic mesh are completely clear.
You want zero resistance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want water to flow through that component easily to ease the strain on the pump.
Once it is pristine, you simply place the filter back into the housing and spin it clockwise until it is nice and tight. It needs to feel secure to maintain the watertight seal.
And don't forget the little hose.
Yes, you push the little drain hose back into place, double checking that you replace the plug, and you close the secret trap door.
Very satisfying.
So we have systematically cleaned the main chamber, we chemically eradicated the mold from the rubber door seal, and we cleared the exit point of the drain filter.
Now we have to look up.
Exactly. We have to travel up to the top of the machine and address the entry point. The place where the cleaning agents actually begin their journey. The detergent drawer.
Because if the entry point is contaminated, everything downstream is compromised before the wash even begins.
Right. And beyond that, once we get this whole machine pristine, how do we actually keep it that way without doing a massive deep clean every week?
Well, the detergent drawer is a fascinating component to start with. It operates on a principle of water diversion.
How does that work?
The machine sends fresh water through specific channels to flush the concentrated chemicals, the detergents, the bleaches, the softeners, down a chute and into the drum.
Oop.
However, because these liquid detergents and softeners are thick and highly viscous, they rarely flush completely clean during that short window of water flow. A thin, sticky film is almost always left behind in the plastic compartments.
The video is meticulous about this step. You don't just wipe the top of the drawer with a damp rag while it's still in the machine. You have to fully dismantle it.
You have to pull the whole thing out.
On most of these units, there's a little tab in the back of the drawer that you push down on, and the entire plastic assembly physically pops right out of the machine.
Once it's out, you take the whole thing apart.
Yeah, you pull out the little plastic siphon inserts for the softener and the bleach, and when you do, you expose these deeply uncleaned, completely untouched chambers beneath them.
And those hidden chambers beneath the siphon caps are where the real danger lies. Liquid fabric softener, as we discussed, is largely fat, wax, and surfactants.
Right, the waxy stuff.
When it sits in those plastic trays, exposed to the ambient air of the laundry room, the water content evaporates. What is left behind is a thick, sticky, highly concentrated gummy resin.
Ew.
This resin acts like a permanent adhesive, trapping airborne dust, lint, and mold spores from the environment. Over time, large, thick colonies of black mold can grow entirely hidden underneath the plastic softener insert.
That is horrifying. To combat this sticky resin, you grab the trusty DIY vinegar and Dawn mix again. You spray down every single piece of the dismantled tray.
The vinegar breaks down the crystallized powder detergent.
And the Dawn acts as a degreaser for those stubborn, gummy fabric softener waxes. You let it sit to let the chemistry work, and then you come through with a Scrub Daddy sponge.
Those sponges are great.
They really are, because they change texture with water temperature. If you use cold water, they stay firm for serious scrubbing power without scratching the soft plastic. You just give everything a thorough scrub until the plastic looks brand new.
It is a highly satisfying visual transformation to see the original color of the plastic emerge from under the gray sludge.
Definitely.
But there is a crucial detail regarding the architecture of the machine that is often missed by homeowners, which the video wisely highlights.
Oh, right. The chute.
Yes. Cleaning the removable drawer is only half the battle. You have to look inside the machine.
The video explicitly points out that before you put your nice clean detergent tray back in, you have to clean the actual chute itself. This is the literal cave inside the machine where the drawer sits.
It gets really gross in there, too.
You spray the DIY mix directly into that dark cavern, grab your toothbrush, and scrub down the ceiling and the walls of the chute.
This is critical because of how the water delivery system is designed. The water jets that forcibly spray down to flush the detergent into the drum are located directly in the ceiling of that chute.
Oh, wow.
As mold and mildew grow in the damp environment of the drawer chamber, the spores travel upward toward the moisture source.
So it grows into the water jets.
Yes. If mold grows up onto those jets, the fresh, clean municipal water rushing into your machine is being pre-contaminated with mold spores before it ever touches your clothes.
That is just awful.
Yes.
So scrubbing the ceiling of the chute ensures the entire water delivery system remains sterile.
Exactly.
Once the tray and the inside chute are totally clean, you just assemble the plastic pieces, pop the tray back into place, push it down until it clicks, and you are entirely done with the deep clean.
The machine is fully restored from top to bottom.
But the source material doesn't just leave us with a clean machine. It leaves us with a long-term strategy. The video concludes with what we can call the golden rules of prevention.
I love these rules.
These are 3 specific daily habits you should always do to prevent the mold, the sludge, and the swamp smell from ever returning.
These 3 rules represent a fundamental shift in how we interact with the appliance. They transition the user from reactive, crisis mode cleaning to proactive, effortless maintenance.
Which is much better.
Absolutely. The logic behind them is biologically and mechanically airtight. Rule number 1, wipe it down.
Just a quick wipe.
After every single use of the machine, or at least at the end of your laundry day, you should take a dry microfiber towel and quickly wipe down the entire rubber gasket. Pay special attention to the deep bottom fold, ensuring you remove any lingering pools of moisture.
It takes maybe 10 seconds, but it denies the mold the stagnant water it needs to survive.
Precisely. In biology, we talk about the requirements for microbial growth. Mold requires a food source, the organic debris from your clothes. It requires spores, which are always present in the air, and it requires moisture.
You can't control the air or the dirt, really.
Right. You cannot eliminate the food or the spores completely, but you can control the moisture. By removing the standing water with a towel, the spores simply cannot bloom.
Okay, rule number 2. Air it out.
Yes. You must always leave the washer door open when the machine is not in active use.
The video suggests using a little magnetic catch to prop it open just a few inches.
This facilitates constant passive airflow through the drum and, most importantly, across the gasket area.
So it dries out.
Air circulation accelerates evaporation, If the interior dries out quickly, you eliminate the micro-greenhouse effect.
I love the magnetic catch idea,
Yeah.
especially if your laundry room is in a high-traffic hallway or a closet. You physically cannot have a massive glass door swung wide open, blocking your path all the time.
Right, people trip over them.
Yeah. But just cracking it an inch or two changes the entire ambient environment inside the drum from a damp cave to a ventilated space.
And finally, rule number 3, monthly maintenance.
Setting a schedule.
Yes. You need to run a dedicated clean cycle using either the 2 cups of white vinegar or the oxygen bleach tablets we discussed at the very beginning at least once a month. Set an alarm on your phone.
Just to keep it consistent.
Exactly. This operates on the principle of consistency over intensity. By running a chemical purge every 30 days, you constantly dissolve the microscopic layers of hard water scale and lipid buildup before they compound into a noticeable problem.
So you never have to scrub for hours again.
Right. You maintain a high baseline of cleanliness rather than fighting a deeply rooted, overwhelming infestation once a year.
So what does this all mean? When we step back and look at this entire methodology, it connects these highly specific mechanical steps directly back to our daily lives and our habits.
It really does.
By adopting just a tiny bit of mindfulness, leaving the door cracked open, taking 10 seconds to wipe the rubber seal, and tossing a cleaning tablet in once a month, you are saving yourself hours of gross, frustrating scrubbing down the line.
And money, too.
Exactly. You are protecting a major financial investment in your home. Washing machines are not cheap, and keeping the pump clear and the sensors clean extends the life of the appliance by years.
Not to mention your clothes.
Right. Ultimately, you are guaranteeing that the clothes you wear against your skin every single day, the sheets you sleep in every night, are actually genuinely clean.
It transforms the washing machine from a mysterious, neglected black box back into a manageable, understood tool. Understanding the chemistry and the mechanics really is the ultimate maintenance strategy.
It absolutely is.
Hmm.
Now, before we wrap up, just a quick reminder. If tackling this laundry room project has you motivated to deep clean the rest of your home, make sure to visit Kind Deck Carpet Cleaning on Google for your floors.
As we close this analysis, I want to leave the listener with a broader thought to ponder.
Oh, let's hear it.
We've spent this time uncovering the hidden ecosystem inside an appliance designed specifically for sanitation.
Yeah, the irony of it.
Right. If our washing machine's devices, entirely dedicated to the act of cleaning, flooded with soap and water daily, are secretly harboring this much hidden grime in their dark corners and hidden filters, what other self-cleaning or maintenance-free systems in our lives are quietly accumulating sludge just out of sight?
Wow.
It's worth considering what else we might be blindly trusting in our homes without performing a routine, critical inspection.
Oh, that is a profound thought to leave on. The dishwashers, the air purifiers, the robotic vacuums, maybe even our daily routines.
Exactly.
It's all about looking behind the curtain and taking ownership of the machinery we rely on. Thank you for listening to the How to Clean Your Front Load Washing Machine podcast.